Hello everyone. This is Learning Korean with Running Man by Miss Ellie Korean. So in this video, we will look at how to pronounce some of the more commonly used words in Korean in the variety show Running Man. Now, let's look at the names of the members of the Running Man show. First, Lee Kwang-soo. Lee Kwang-soo. Yoo Jae-suk. Yoo Jae-suk. Chi Seok-jin. Chi Seok-jin. 하하, 하하. 송지효, 송지효. 김종국, 김종국. 천소민, 천소민. 양세찬, 양세찬. Next, we are going to look at some common phrases that the running show members always say in the show. First, in terms of greetings, when the show opens, they will say hello to the audience. So they say 안녕하세요, 안녕하세요. Or they can also say how are you? So it's basically the same thing but in a question form. 안녕하십니까? 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 And then when the show wraps up, they will say goodbye to the audience. They will go 안녕히 계세요. 안녕히 계세요. And when they address the audience as a whole, they say everyone or ladies and gentlemen, they will say 여러분, 여러분. And you will notice sometimes when the members address each other, they call each other brother or sister. And in Korean, there are specific words for it. And it's different when the person addressing the other person is a girl or a guy. And also depends on whether the person being addressed is a girl or a guy. So there are only terms when the person being addressed is older than the speaker. And if the person being addressed is younger, then the speaker will just say the name of the person. So for example, when Somin try to address Jihyo, she will say Oni. Or she can put the name in front of Oni and say Jihyo Oni. Oni. And for example, if Sechan wants to address Jihyo, he will say 누나, 누나. Now we come to a term that I guess many people are familiar with, oppa. This is used when a younger girl addressed an older guy. Oppa. And finally, if a younger guy addresses an older guy, for example, if Kwang-soo addresses Jae-seok, then he will say 형, 형. Now we look at more common phrases that the Running Man show members will say in the show. First, let's look at some short answers to yes or no questions. First, for yes, yes it is, you will say 네, 네. On the opposite, if you want to say no, it isn't. No, I am not. You say 아니, 아니. And if you want to say there is something, something is present there, you say 있어, 있어. On the other hand, if you want to say there isn't something, something is not there, it is absent, you say 없어, 없어. And as for some simple feelings towards something, for example, if you want to say you like something, you say 좋아, 좋아. If you want to say I hate something, it is 싫어, 싫어. On the other hand, if you want to say something is okay, I am fine with something, you say 괜찮아, 괜찮아. Next, we'll look at some question words in Korean. And some of these question words can be used by itself standalone. First, if you want to ask, why is this the case? Why did this happen? You will say, 왜, 왜. And if you come across something very surprising, you will say, oh, why? In Korean, it's quite similar. You can say, 왜, 왜. The next one is what. If you point at something and ask, oh, what is this? You say, 뭐, 뭐. Also, if you come across something very surprising, you can't believe it, you will say, what? In Korean, it's quite similar. You can say, 뭐? 뭐? And that will express your surprise. Next up is who. In Korean, it is 누구 or 누가. And the difference between the two is whether the person being asked is the subject of the action or the object of the action. If you want to ask, who did this? You are asking about the subject of the action. Then you will say, 누가, 누가. And if you want to ask, who did this happen to? Whose thing was stolen? You are asking about the object of the action. Then you will use 누구, 누구. The next one is where. Where in Korean is 어디, 어디. And when in Korean is 언제, 언제. And this one we hear a lot in shows and dramas is how. 어떻게, 어떻게. And if you find this situation very difficult to deal with, you don't know how to do this, you say 어떻게, 어떻게. And some other very commonly used expression, we hear them a lot, include really. This is also when you hear something very surprising, you can't believe this, then you say really. In Korean is 진짜, 진짜. This same word can also mean very much. If you say something is very something, for example, oh, the weather is very hot, you say 날씨가 진짜 더워요. 진짜. The next one is many. 많아, 많아. If you say someone has a lot of money, then you can say that person 돈이 많아, 많아. The next one is thank you. 고마워, 고마워. And for sorry in Korean, we say 미안, 미안. One interesting thing about the Korean language is that they have got a lot of borrowed words from other languages. They borrow words from English, from Chinese. So it is also interesting to know these Korean words because they sound very similar to their counterparts in English. So let's look at some of them that the Running Man show always mention. So first, for game in Korean is game, game. For team in Korean is team, team. Mission is mission, mission. Member is member, member. Rule is rule, rule. Hint is hint, hint. Round, when we say the first round, the second round of the game, we say round, round. And if we say someone is eliminated from the game, we say out. Somebody is out. It is out, out. And some other words in the gameplay that we hear a lot is first place, 1등, 1등. And last place is 꼴찌, 꼴찌. To win is 우승, 우승. And when someone wins and they get presents, the presents are 상품, 상품. On the other hand, if someone loses, they get punishment. Punishment is 벌칙, 벌칙. And if somebody breaks the rules, which happens a lot in Running Man, is 반칙, 반칙. So that is all for this video. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoy it. And I also hope you enjoy Running Man even more after learning these Korean phrases. You can find more Korean learning advice and tips at missellykorean.com. Thank you and goodbye.